strange and terrifying virus has broken out in the city. It initially seemed like a form of rabies, but the infection spreads at an alarming rate. Many hospitals have run out of beds, forcing some patients to be transferred to the medical school hospital. PJ and her best friend are interns there. A female patient is brought in. She was bitten on the leg about half an hour ago. PJ examines her and thinks it's nothing serious. However, before the doctor arrives, the woman's condition worsens dramatically. She collapses on the bed, convulsing uncontrollably, foam pouring from her mouth. The sight immediately reminds PJ of her mother's stroke. When the doctor arrives, they still can't save her life. PJ is devastated. As she steps out of the ward, she unexpectedly runs into her father, Mario. It turns out he had been in a minor car accident on his way home and had no choice but to take the injured person to the hospital for treatment. Later, Gallo and his team prepare to take the body to the morgue, but to their surprise, the dead woman's heart starts beating again. His colleague thinks it's a malfunction with the equipment and goes over to check, unaware of anything unusual. But just then, the woman slowly sits up. Gallo is so terrified by the sight that he runs for his life, screaming for help in the hallway. Before anyone can process what's happening, their colleague, who had been bitten earlier, bursts out of a room, his neck bleeding profusely. Panic immediately spreads, and no one notices the mutated female zombie following close behind. Without any sense of reason, she attacks anyone she sees, making the situation even more chaotic. It doesn't take long for more colleagues to transform and join the feast. Under their assault, the hospital quickly turns into a hell on earth. In less than a few minutes, the zombie outbreak spreads throughout the entire facility. PJ and Erica go to the school professor to report the situation, hoping to raise awareness. However, the professor naively believes it's just a case of rabies. It's only when a staff member bursts in, panicked, that they learn the dead are not only coming back to life, but are also attacking anyone in sight. By this time, the zombies have already reached the school's basketball arena. A group of students, who have never seen anything like this before, quickly become victims, with many being devoured by the zombies. Lucas realizes the danger and, without hesitation, abandons his friends, fleeing through the door. The zombie virus spreads incredibly fast, and within minutes, it's everywhere on campus. With zombies everywhere, the students are thrown into a panic, scrambling to escape. Only a few manage to survive the chaos. Soon, the entire campus is overrun with zombies. The student council president, Miles, and his assistant, Vanessa, watch the horror unfold on the monitors, their faces turning pale with fear. Fortunately, Miles' father is a general, and he promises to send soldiers for a rescue operation. Soon, PJ and the others hear the principal's broadcast, warning that an emergency has occurred on campus and advising everyone to lock their doors and wait for rescue. The professor is about to lock the door when, unexpectedly, a zombie suddenly charges at them. Luckily, the professor reacts quickly and fights back, with PJ and the others helping to keep the door from being broken down. However, the zombie's sharp claws manage to wound the professor. Meanwhile, Mario, while trying to escape, runs into Lucas. At this point, Mario has no idea that Lucas is his daughter's boyfriend. While they're talking, the boy from the earlier accident suddenly turns into a zombie. During the struggle, Mario discovers that zombies are extremely afraid of water. Lucas then grabs a nearby water pipe and swiftly takes the zombie down. The two part ways, one heading to find his daughter and the other his girlfriend, not realizing that they are both searching for the same person. At this point, outside, chaos has completely broken out. PJ and the others are desperately holding the door, fearing that the zombies outside will break through. However, soon the noise stops. Just as they're starting to wonder what happened, they hear Lucas's voice from outside. It turns out that he found his way here and managed to take down the zombies. Lucas believes that staying here is becoming increasingly dangerous and plans to help the group break out. But just as they're talking, the professor suddenly starts to twist and emit beast-like growls. Lucas immediately realizes that this is a sign of mutation and quickly grips his weapon. As the professor charges at them, Lucas steps forward to face him. Taking advantage of a brief opening, the group works together to subdue the professor. Meanwhile, outside, the situation continues to escalate. The security guard, while fleeing, comes across a girl who is abandoned and takes her along as they try to make it to the exit. After fighting their way through the horde of zombies, they finally reach the entrance, only to find it completely blocked off by the military. The military has set up a quarantine zone to prevent the virus from spreading and is preparing to carry out a mass extermination. Soon, the zombies from behind are hot on their heels. In a panic, the group can only rush toward the exit. But in the next moment, they're all shot down by bullets, turning into Swiss cheese. This news sends Miles into a state of panic. Fortunately, his father had left him an escape route. He'll send a helicopter at 5 a.m. tomorrow to pick him up. However, the helicopter can only carry 2 people, so Miles is advised to prepare accordingly. After reaching the hospital's rooftop, Miles, worried that he might not survive until then, sends out a message to all the students, telling them that at 5 a.m. tomorrow, a helicopter will come to rescue everyone and they should head to the rooftop. Soon, PJ and the others receive the text message. However, with 4 more buildings standing between them and the rooftop, no one knows how many zombies are lurking along the way. But in the name of survival, they must take the risk. While on their way, they suddenly witness the student council assistant fall from the building. They look up in shock and spot Miles on the rooftop above. Miles explains that the assistant was accidentally infected with the virus, and he had no choice but to make that decision. The group, not suspecting anything, allows Miles to join them on their journey. Meanwhile, Mario, while searching for his daughter, is attacked by zombies and is on the brink of collapse. Just as things look dire, a passing security guard comes to his rescue. The 3 of them then head to the kitchen, hoping to grab a bite to eat. However, the school's power system suddenly fails, and under the eerie glow of the red emergency lights, the zombies appear even more terrifying, growling like monsters. Mario senses the danger and decides they need to escape. At the same time, Lucas is leading his group through the second building, but it's overrun with countless zombies. The group moves carefully, trying not to draw attention. Just then, the lights flicker back on. Their position is immediately compromised, and with zombies rushing toward them, they have no choice but to flee. In the chaos, PJ and Lucas get separated from their group. They barely escape by hiding under a car. However, just as they rise to their feet, they're shocked to discover that there's a zombie hiding in the car. The 2 of them speed up and manage to escape just in time, crossing the barbed wire before the zombies catch up. They then reach a church and reunite with their teammates. However, their hope quickly fades when they realize the church doors have been locked from the inside and they can't get in. By now, the zombies are closing in, and with no other option, the group grabs their weapons and prepares for a desperate fight. After managing to take down a horde of zombies, they're still far from safe. A new wave of zombies is already rushing toward them. Just when they think all is lost, a bright light shines from behind. It's Mario and the security guard, who have arrived just in time to open the doors. Under the cover of the guard's firepower, they finally make their escape. Mario slams the door shut, blocking the zombies from getting in. Once the door is locked securely, he anxiously checks on PJ. The church provides a temporary safe haven, and PJ carefully tends to Lucas's wounds. Though she tries to deny it, it's clear she's fallen for Lucas, the one who risked everything to save her. After a brief rest, the group continues their journey, preparing to cross the 3rd building. Just then, the little girl spots her mutated mother in the midst of a zombie horde and rushes toward her without a second thought. In the blink of an eye, she's swallowed up by the zombies. The security guard tries to rush in to save her, but it's hopeless. At that moment, Miles betrays them all. He abandons the group, quickly crosses the iron gate, and locks it behind him. That's when the others realize they've been duped. They were just pawns in Miles's game, used as bodyguards. With no choice, the group flees through another path. Gallo uses a fire extinguisher to cover their retreat, but he's knocked down by the zombies. Thankfully, his teammates don't give up on him and manage to rescue him just in time. Afterward, Mario locks the iron gate, and they narrowly escape the danger. They hide in a room to regroup, but a sense of hopelessness starts to creep in. To lift their spirits, Mario grabs a guitar and plays for the group. Just as they start to relax, PJ suddenly hears strange noises coming from the room. She opens the door and, to her shock, a zombie leaps out at her. Seeing what happened, Mario quickly rushes over to help. Although they manage to kill the zombie, the unfortunate reality hits. Mario is bitten in the process. At that moment, PJ breaks down in tears. She suddenly realizes that, after losing her mother, she had distanced herself from her father. But deep down, she knows now that her father is just as important to her as her mother was. Mario, aware that he'll soon turn into a zombie, tells them not to let him become a burden. He asks them to lock him in a room and leave him behind so they can escape. The group hesitates but understands, and they reluctantly move on. They manage to reach the next building, but Gallo gets careless. He's ambushed by a zombie hiding behind a box. Knowing he's been infected, he decides to make the ultimate sacrifice. He tells the others to escape while he stays behind to hold off the zombies. The security guard, with no better option, leaves his handgun for Gallo and tells him to use it well. With heavy hearts, the group continues onward. Gallo raises the gun, shouting defiantly as he empties the clip into the horde. But it's all in vain. He's quickly overwhelmed by the zombies, and his sacrifice buys the group very little time. Soon after, the horde catches up with the others. At this point, the security guard steps forward again, ready to give his life for the others. This sacrifice buys them just enough time to flee. At this point, only 3 people remain as they make their way to the swimming pool. Thankfully, they take advantage of the zombies' fear of water, so for the time being, they're safe. However, with zombies surrounding the pool, continuing on could only lead to their demise. Erica, who has secretly been in love with Gallo, decides to sacrifice herself. As Erica reaches the shore, she attracts the attention of all the nearby zombies. Lucas, fighting back his sorrow, grabs PJ and races away, finally making it to the hospital building in one piece. But the zombies are still relentlessly chasing them. They run through the building, and after a frantic sprint, they finally make it to the rooftop. Lucas locks the door behind them, but the zombies are relentlessly pounding at the door, and it's clear they won't hold out much longer. Lucas, with everything he's got left, manages to help PJ up to a higher rooftop helipad. However, he's unable to follow, as he's severely injured after cutting his arm on broken glass. Just then, the zombies break through the door. Seeing no other option, Lucas gives up hope and, like the others before him, takes one last leap off the building, taking the pursuing zombies with him as they both plummet to the ground below. PJ is overwhelmed with grief, having lost both her father and lover in just a single day. Standing at the edge of the helipad, she contemplates ending her life, but exhaustion finally takes over, and she faints. When she regains consciousness, it's already early the next morning. As she looks up, she's horrified to see a bite mark on the back of her hand. Yet there are no signs of transformation. It dawns on her that she might be naturally immune to the zombie virus. Suddenly, an idea strikes her. Grabbing a fire axe, PJ becomes a one-woman warrior, slashing her way through the chaos. After a fierce battle, she finally locates the room where Mario is being held. She opens the door, and to her relief, Mario hasn't transformed. By now, the rescue window has long passed, and they must find another way to escape the campus. Mario recalls that the school once built a secret underground tunnel to escape wartime threats. Back in the church, the little girl had noticed a mysterious underground passage. Without hesitation, Mario leads his daughter back to the church. But when they crawl into the tunnel, they're shocked to find that Miles, who had abandoned them earlier, is here too. Miles has been bitten and clearly lost all sense of reason. Mario bravely steps forward to fight Miles, buying PJ some time to escape. Soon, father and daughter manage to make it out of the tunnel, but Miles is quickly overwhelmed by the approaching horde of zombies. When they finally make it out into the open, they discover that the entire city has already fallen to the infection. To make matters worse, a massive hurricane is set to make landfall soon,